Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Avery. In today's video, I'm going to be making a Christmas budget using the software YNAB. So a little bit about me, I've been using the software YNAB for my regular budget, but today I thought it would be good to make a kind of a mock Christmas budget. So what I did is I created a new plan and just made it my Christmas budget, and then I've put in these categories, and we're gonna go in and actually make like the specific I made these category groups, and we're gonna go in and make these categories. And then over here I did an unlinked account. It's just my Christmas account, and we've inflowed $550 into this budget because that's how much money I have for Christmas. That said, I'm gonna actually just let myself do sort of like brainstorming here and not really restrict myself at first, and then depending on how I feel about the total amount, we can decide if there's money that I could pull potentially in my budget to get this balanced, because the goal is to not go into debt for Christmas, which I always think is a pretty good goal to have. It's nice to save in advance, and I'm glad I've saved some money, but I may not have enough money. That said, because of my budgeting, it's okay if I pull the money from elsewhere. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this. I'll tell you a little bit about my Christmas philosophy, I guess, is I tend to not want to buy gifts for people, for like adults. I don't have a problem with buying gifts for kids. In fact, I think that's better in my opinion. But when you're like an adult, at some point you're just like, well, unless I have something like fun in mind, I'd much prefer us to just like, instead of buying gifts for each other, we just went out and bought the thing that we wanted. But yeah, I do have a couple children in my life, in my family, that I will probably prioritize getting gifts for over adults. I know with my siblings, we don't really plan on buying each other's gifts. And then what else? I also have to worry about holiday dinners. So I also like to think of Thanksgiving and Christmas as combined, which we'll see when I actually start making the budgets. But I need to worry about Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners. And I go to my mom's Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then I go to my stepmom's Thanksgiving and Christmas as well. So kind of like 4 dinners to work with that we know of. I also want to consider holiday events and potentially like Black Friday sales if those exist. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and get started. The very first thing I need to do is I need to allocate money towards a Christmas tree. We got rid of our Christmas tree when we moved, and I kind of wish we had it because I don't really remember the reason why. And my Christmas tree was from Big Lots, and I don't know how popular Big Lots was outside of Ohio, but I live in Ohio, and Big Lots, I'm pretty sure, was headquartered here. But anyways, they went bankrupt, so I don't even think they exist anymore, and no Big Lots exist near me anymore. So what that means is I don't know where to get like a cheap Christmas tree. I like a 7.5 foot multicolored light Christmas tree. One of my friends suggested Menards. I looked at those. Some of them seem okay. I looked at their website. Some of them seem okay. I'm not sure though. I looked at Lowe's, and that was a complete bust. Target sucked as well. Like Target was like, it's a $500 tree on sale for $250. I feel like that's still too high. I know it's like reusable, but doesn't that seem still too high? Like it doesn't feel like a Christmas tree should cost that much. I also looked at Home Depot, and I think Home Depot is the store I'm gonna probably go with. I just want to go look in person and make sure they actually have it near me. But this is kind of the style that I like. I kind of like this look that's more like this. I feel like I'm not explaining this very well, but this on the left, this is kind of my style. I also like about 7.5 feet is a good height for the places I've lived in. And then I like the multicolored lights, although I wonder what this looks like in person, because it feels like in this mock-up there's a lot of blue in here. It doesn't look real, so it like just looks kind of like a mock-up for the this looks better, I guess. So yeah, this is kind of what I'm looking for. Nathan and I will probably split the cost, so it's $149.31. So I kind of expect, I'm not sure what the price will be when I go and look. It looks like regular price is $180. So hopefully they have this one. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna budget $100 for this. We have all the ornaments we need, and if I get a similar size tree, it should not be an issue, like the number of ornaments I have. And I think we still have like garland. Is that the word that you wrap around the tree? So I don't think we'll need to buy more of that either, assuming we can get a very similar tree to what we have now. That said, I'll just like make it $100 just in case there is some sort of decoration I want to get when I purchase the tree. Let me know, have you already set up your Christmas tree? Because I'm pretty strictly do it right after Thanksgiving. Black Friday is when I put it up, and then I like to keep it up around New Year's. But let me know how long you like to do it for. My mom, she like every year she kind of does something different. Okay, she's just kind of like late sometimes, and it'll go up like a week before, and then it'll be up till like February. So yeah, different styles for different people. As far as other decorations, I actually don't have any other decorations I need. I'm not much of a decoration person. I just love when I have like a multicolored like Christmas tree, and then I can wake up in the early morning or when it's still dark outside and I just sit there and look at the lights. I just find that very calming and relaxing. So hopefully I can get that this year. I'm gonna put a link to the tree I'm interested in down here. Okay, that way I can maybe keep track of my notes as I go. Now I want to talk about holiday dinners. For holiday dinners, I need to go to my mom's Thanksgiving, and then I need to do my stepmom's Thanksgiving, and then my mom's Christmas and my stepmom's Christmas. And this is kind of how this kind of works is I'm gonna put these in order like this: mom, stepmom, mom, stepmom. Okay. So for my mom's Thanksgiving, we have placed a catering order that said I like to deal with the dessert and rolls. So I'm gonna put those down here. I think what I'm gonna do is actually just place an order with my old bakery that I used to work at, and probably get rolls through there. That's normally what I do. I don't always do dessert, but we could just get a pie through there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Although I also like supporting local bakeries during this time of the year. I can make stuff, but I do just like trying different things. So that like last year or a couple years ago, we tried like a peanut butter graham cracker crust pie. That was really good. I've tried pecan pies from places. I really like pecan pie, so maybe I'll look for one of those. For my stepmom's Thanksgiving, we're doing so for my mom's Thanksgiving, I think this should only cost me like $40 to get, and probably less. Just kind of depends on what I end up doing. It could be more. It could be $50 if I get like a fancy dessert. Although I was at Whole Foods and they had a pecan pie there, and I was like, well, this looks good enough to me. And I've seen some of the desserts at Costco and kind of like the same thing. I'm like, this could just work if I did this. But for my stepmom's Thanksgiving, we're doing everyone brings a different soup. So I was looking up different soups, and I kind of put a list over here. I'll just show you. So for this first one, it's like a creamy white bean tomato sauce soup. That's kind of nice, I think, if I did like a nice bread with it. But I was also considering not necessarily a ravioli soup, but a lasagna soup, if you've ever made that before. So I think that could be good. And then I saw like a vegetable chowder. So my family is kind of on like a protein keto diet kick. So I kind of thought this or the white bean one would be good as kind of like a balance. I'm not sure what people are going to make, but I thought it would balance other soups that I expect people to make pretty well. Like I don't really expect anyone to make, I don't want to make a chili because I'm sure somebody will make a chili. I was also considering chicken and dumplings just because I like chicken and dumplings. I kind of like heartier soups, but we'll see, okay? We don't know for certain. And then there's also this slow cooker creamy tortellini soup where you put like sausage in it too, and that can be good. And then I guess down here, I did have a copy of a lasagna soup that I've made one time. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking with those. But as far as like the cost of that, I don't really know. This would be cheaper. It kind of just depends on what I have. I should probably just assume just in case I need to purchase every ingredient. So we'll just say $50 for this. So I think the soup that I'm most interested in maybe is this chicken and dumpling soup. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and just copy all of them and put them over here in the notes for this section. That way I can easily refer to them in one place later. Although I've never noticed before that it kind of, the formatting gets all wonky here. But that's interesting. For my mom's Christmas, I'm gonna say $100. I don't really have any specific dishes that I plan on making. I usually just end up doing some of the ones that my mom doesn't feel like making that year. And I was trying to think of what those even were. I know we do a ham usually. Sometimes we also add like a roast or a brisket. And we'll do like a cheese ball, maybe deviled eggs. Cheesy potatoes is a classic in this household. Oyster dressing, that's really good too. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure what it'll be, but I'll probably handle dessert again, rolls, and then 1 to 3 desserts, or 1 to 3 dishes. So that will probably be more than enough to hit $100 in this day and age. Although sometimes my mom buys the ingredients and then I just make it at her house, but I'll plan to buy the ingredients just in case. For my stepmom's Christmas, I'm not 100% sure. I want to say better safe than sorry, we'll do $50, just depending on what I end up needing to make. In previous years, I don't know if I've said this already, but in previous years, we've done things like make your own charcuterie themed board, kind of like baked potato board, Chick-fil-A board, charcuterie board, etc., etc. But in other years, we've just done like everyone bring a different type of pizza, and that wouldn't cost this much if that's the case. But to be safe, I'm gonna say $50. That way, I don't underestimate. Okay, moving on. For gifts, my gift philosophy this year is adults, for the most part, aren't really gonna get anything. I don't want to focus my efforts on adults. I just kind of think gift giving when you're older just doesn't really hit the same. Usually, unless it's something like fun that you know you're like really excited for, I just don't see the point. I will say in some years, like me and my siblings have gone in on a larger gift for like our parents, and that can sometimes be nice. But for the most part, I really want to limit like gifts I give to just like people I don't see very often. I don't think it's necessary. My siblings, we don't want to do gifts for each other, so we're not going to worry about that. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So I have my nephew, and I'm going to say $100 for him. Typically what happens with him is I'll get recruited into a larger gift. So I'm going to do $100 for that. That way it can help whatever it is. And I tend to find out, I don't like to buy gifts far in advance. So some people like to finish their Christmas shopping early, but for me, I kind of know if I buy something earlier, I'm just going to get told like, hey, we're going to buy, like one year we bought like a virtual reality set for him. So like it doesn't make sense for me to like go out and spend $50 if I know like a week before Christmas, I'm going to be told, hey, we want to get our nephew a virtual reality headset. Do you have $70 you want to give to this? I like to wait. I'm a waiter, you know what I mean? I don't mind waiting. And then some other kids in the family. So my cousin has a kid. I don't want to like write people's names, so I'm gonna kind of leave them out. Yeah. Why did I type it like that? We're gonna use some code language here, I guess, and put that there. I think because they're younger, I'll put their age in here. One of them is, maybe I'll just combine them together. And they're like 2 years old, like 3 and 6 or something like that. So I don't think I'll need to do a whole lot for them, because she told me they're kind of into Hot Wheels, which is really cheap. And then I really don't buy gifts for kids, because I was in the toys section of Target and I was like, oh, these really aren't that bad. I think I kind of struggle though with giving gifts to children, because they tend to get so many different toys that it's easy to just not play with them all, and then or they grow out of it too quick, or they just forget about it. So I don't want to buy anything too large at that age when they're not really, they might like it for a little while, but it's not like they'll probably they won't appreciate it in the way that like an older child might. So one of my stepsisters has a 1-year-old daughter, and I don't know, I'll say $20 for that. And then for my other stepsister, she is pregnant, so maybe I'll get her something related to the pregnancy. I feel like that's fair. Although in January she's having her baby shower, so maybe nothing too crazy, but maybe I'll get her like a gift card just kind of like early in case she wants to buy stuff. So we'll do it like that. And then from there, I'm going to combine my dad and stepmom together, and I'll probably just get them a gift card to one of their favorite places to eat. So we'll say $50. My mom is a little more bougie, so I'm going to say $100, and I'll, again, probably find out a week before what that gift is going to be. And then for Nathan, we're not really good at giving gifts to each other, but because once we buy something, we just want to give it to each other immediately. Okay, the formatting on this, trash. Like, I just keep randomly adding parentheses and in some spots and not others. But yeah, for Nathan, I don't know, but I'm going to say $150 just to be safe. That way, I've accounted for it ideally. And then, if possible, I know I said I wanted to limit, like, third party gifts if I can. I'm gonna say for my coworkers maybe $45, which can give me like 3 $15 gift cards. Last year I got gifts from some of them, so it's kind of hard. I know people say like don't worry about, like, you're not supposed to be buying that gift with the expectation of getting a gift from someone, but when someone gives me a gift and I didn't have any plans to give them anything, I feel like that puts a little pressure on me, or I feel not necessarily pressured by them, but I just kind of like, well, maybe next time I need to like actually do that. I know I can be kind of strict with budgeting, and it's hard to find the balance between like having a good time and being like a Scrooge, you know? So I'm trying to avoid that. Moving on to Black Friday. Oh, I forgot to mention potentially, I don't know where to put this. Maybe I'll put it here. But like cookie boxes, I could do that for my coworkers, but I like to give those out, and those kind of work sometimes with like Nathan's family, like organizations I'm involved in, things like that. It's kind of nice to make cookies. But as far as the cost, I don't know. Should we say $75? This would the cost could get kind of roped into the holiday dinners. Because I kind of like doing cookies for the holiday, like for Christmas too. I actually wrote down like the cookie ideas I'm interested in. I really like doing peanut butter blossom, so I plan on doing that again. And then I'm thinking like a sugar, kind of like a more plain option, which is like sugar cookie, but baked with red and green sprinkles. I think that would be nice. And then I don't necessarily think it's hot Christmas themed, but like I want to make lemon crinkle cookies. I think that just sounds really good. So I'm going to do that as well. Of course, a decorated, just classic Christmas sugar cookie. And then maybe I'm going to see if my sister wants to do this. We used to make popcorn balls with my grandma, and I think it would be fun to do that again. Could also make Buckeyes. That could be fun. But that's kind of what I'm thinking with holiday cookies. But of course, if I do that, then I need to find like tins to put them in. So maybe I'm going to put it here for now. But if I don't actually get around to this, it's not the end of the world. But it's kind of fun to get into the holiday spirit that way. Like making holiday cookies is kind of, feels like Christmas to me. Staring at my Christmas tree. Staring at my Christmas tree feels like Christmas. I don't know. Like, it just kind of gets me in the holiday spirit. Speaking of holiday spirit, 2 potential ideas for the holiday spirit is attending the Nutcracker. I love a ballet. If I had all the money in the world, I would be donating to the arts. But until then, I can just only go every now and then. I was also thinking, like Christmas lights. Going to one of those. So for these things, I don't know what the cost of Nutcracker tickets would be. I think personally, if we're flexible, I think if we're flexible, there's a possibility that we could get like a pay what you can ticket. And in that case, it would maybe be cheaper, and you kind of just go with whatever seats they have available for that showing. I think I can be pretty flexible with the Nutcracker if I want to attend. Then for Christmas lights, that said, the cost could be, if I buy it, it could be up to $100, hence why I've listed $100 here. But if it's a pay what you can, I find like those are hard, but I feel like I would at minimum do $30 for the ticket and potentially more. But yeah, up to $100 is kind of how I see that. Then for Christmas lights, there's one I have in mind. I think all in it'll be like $35. These are nice to haves, but if I don't end up seeing the Nutcracker, it's not the end of the world. If I don't go to like some organized Christmas lights extravaganza, it doesn't necessarily matter because people will put up a bunch of Christmas lights throughout the city. So I can always just look at people's lights, you know? But yes, Christmas lights would be $35. Finally, I kind of put these in order of importance here. I don't think I mentioned that. But to me, I definitely want to get a Christmas tree. That way we have it again. And then holiday dinners are definitely important to make sure I bring what is needed for that. And then for gifts, they're kind of in reverse order here. But basically, the children would be at the top. And then followed by my parents. Well, and Nathan, of course. Nathan, of course, is a priority. And then like cookie boxes and my coworkers would be closer to the bottom. It's just if I can make it work, I will. Okay, Black Friday, kind of the same thing. And then holiday events, like I just said, if I can make it work. And then Black Friday, I like Black Friday for me. So I have my eye on some spin classes. I just don't know what kind of deals they'll have, but maybe up to $250 for that. And then I also have my eye maybe on yoga classes and up to $100 on that. So probably not enough to like get through the whole year, but enough to get me going for the first part of 2026. Okay, so I'm just going to try assigning this money and see when I run out, which will probably be pretty quickly. But if I do $100 for Christmas, $50 for my mom's Thanksgiving, $50 for my stepmom's, $100 for my mom's Christmas, $50 for my stepmom's Christmas, $100 for my nephew, $40 for my cousins, $20 for my stepsister, $25 for my other stepsister, $100 for my mom. Okay, now I'm over budget. $50 for my dad and stepmom. $150 for Nathan. $45 for my coworkers. $75 for the cookie boxes. $35 for Christmas lights. $100 for Nutcracker. $250 for spin classes, and then $100 for yoga classes. Now, does it tell me what this is if I just put them all together? That would mean I need $1,440 and $550. What does that equal? That would be, I would need $890 extra dollars. That's a lot. I definitely think I could spend less if need be. Like, for example, if the Christmas tree was $80, my mom's Thanksgiving, potentially I think I could get it down to $35. Maybe even cheaper, honestly. I've never gone to Costco, but I feel like they have perfect enough rolls. I bet they do. And then a dessert too. It's more so just not having, just how busy it is at Costco, you know what I mean? I also don't like to get things super far in advance, so I want to make sure it's fresh. For my stepmom's Thanksgiving, I'm going to leave it at $50 because I just don't know the cost of soup ingredients. And then my mom's Christmas, I'll keep it at $100. My stepmom's Christmas, honestly, could probably be closer to $40. For my nephew, I'll leave it $100. Cousin, stepsister newborn, mom, dad, stepmom. If I didn't get anything for my coworkers, or I just did the cookie boxes, so maybe I'll pull the $45 for the coworkers. Christmas lights. Okay, if the Nutcracker, this is a lot of projecting, which isn't necessarily something you always do in YNAB, but I still find it interesting. Because it's not connected to my actual budget, so it's not the end of the world if this isn't some accurate thing or doesn't play out this way. And then let's say I don't go to the Christmas lights. And, how much does this put me at now? This puts me closer to $1,265, which would mean I am still $700 over budget. Let me look at my actual budget now and just see where I have money available. Currently, for money available, I think if I needed to for the holidays, what I can do is I can use my regular groceries budget to help offset the cost of any food expenses I have for Christmas and Thanksgiving. And then I was also thinking my fun and spending money, since this is supposed to be very flexible, I could use this as well. And since December rolls around, I'll get another $400 for groceries and household. And since it's the holidays, I feel like I'm not spending as much money on food because there's more food related events in the holidays. So it's very likely that I might have money left over in these categories that I could put towards Christmas. And then same thing for fun and spending, because other things are happening during these last 2 months of the year. I probably won't be spending as much money from there. I have the ability to tell myself, yes, I don't need to spend money on that because I want to take this money and actually put it towards Christmas. You see what I'm saying? So just right now, looking at December and the rest of November, it's like I already have $352, and I have one more paycheck for November coming in, which will get me to fully budgeted, or I'll hit my budgeted goal. I'll hit my goal amount for the month, I guess, in these categories. Like, just looking here, I currently have $793 in these categories. So yeah, if completely dire, I could also take a look at my auto stuff category, but that I don't think is necessary, and I don't need to do that, so it's not really a plan. But the point of this practice, or this measure, is to just prove to myself there is the ability to be flexible with other categories if need be, but I want to challenge myself to keep it within that initial $550. So that's where I'm at with my Christmas budget. I think the first priority will be getting my Christmas tree and then figuring out Thanksgiving, like locking that in. But it's crazy how it's almost here. I feel like it's such a cliche to be like, this month has flew by, but this month really has flown by, and December's not going to be any slower. I'm sure the year is it's basically over. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you like it. It helps support my channel if you want to see more budgeting, brainstorming content, if you will. I feel like I like brainstorming sometimes. Let me know if you like those types of videos where I just kind of sit here and like write out my thoughts like this, whether it's in YNAB or some other way. You can subscribe and stick around. Hope the month is going. Let me know how planning for the holidays is going for you so far, but otherwise I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.